Everyone talks about visualization. See it, feel it, believe it. 1,000 voices say the same thing, but few ever ask why it works. Why does a mental image, something invisible, start rearranging the physical world? Carl Jung gave us an answer no modern self-help book has fully understood. Visualization works not because of magic, but because it awakens the mechanism of the unconscious. Jung saw imagination not as fantasy, but as reality in its first form. Before anything exists in the outer world, it must first exist as a symbol, an image, an emotional pattern within the psyche. When you visualize, you're not pretending. You're participating in creation. You're shaping the blueprint reality will later follow. But here's what most people miss. Visualization doesn't work because you control reality. It works because you communicate with it. The psyche, your deeper mind, doesn't understand words. It understands symbols, emotion, images, and meaning. When you visualize vividly, you're speaking the only language the unconscious truly listens to. You're sending it a living symbol, a message wrapped in emotion, and the unconscious responds. It begins aligning your perceptions, emotions, and actions to that inner symbol. That's how manifestation really happens. Not from the conscious wish, but from the emotional imprint that sinks deep enough to become identity. You might say, I want peace. But if your unconscious is filled with conflict, that desire will never materialize. Not because the universe ignores you, but because your deeper self isn't yet congruent with the image of peace. Visualization is how you teach the unconscious a new pattern, through repetition, emotion, and feeling. The more vivid the image, the more powerful the transformation. Why? Because emotion gives the image life. Without emotion, visualization is just empty imagery, a movie with no soul. But when the image carries feeling, the unconscious treats it as real. To your deeper mind, emotion is truth. This is why visualization has roots in ancient rituals, prayer, and meditation. The mystics called it contemplation. Jung called it active imagination, a dialogue between the conscious ego and the unconscious self. When you visualize with sincerity and emotion, you awaken a two-way relationship. You're no longer forcing your will upon life, you're aligning with its creative intelligence. The more you do this, the more coincidences begin to appear. You think of someone, they call. You imagine an opportunity, it shows up. You let go of fear, and suddenly the path opens. Jung called this synchronicity, when inner meaning and outer events move in rhythm. It's not coincidence, it's coherence. But visualization also requires humility. If you visualize from ego, trying to manipulate reality, you'll meet resistance. Because the unconscious isn't your servant, it's your equal. It serves the growth of the whole self, not the short-term desires of the ego. That's why sometimes you don't get what you visualize, and instead, you get the lesson you need to become the kind of person who could truly live that vision. Real visualization is not I want it, it's I am becoming it. It's not commanding the world to change. It's aligning yourself so deeply that the world has to. Modern neuroscience now confirms what Jung intuited a century ago. When you imagine vividly, your brain lights up the same neural pathways as if you were experiencing the event. The mind rehearses the pattern, and through repetition, your nervous system begins to believe the image is real. This shifts your emotions, your decisions, your posture, your tone, until your life unconsciously begins to mirror that image. You become what you imagine. But there's a hidden danger too. Every negative fantasy, every fear, every replay of failure is also visualization. You're constantly creating through mental imagery, whether consciously or not. That's why Jung insisted that self-awareness is sacred. What you dwell on, you energize. What you suppress, you manifest unconsciously. You must choose your inner images with intention. If you fill your mind with fear, the unconscious assumes you value it and begins shaping reality around it. Not as punishment, but as reflection. The psyche is a mirror, neutral, precise, responsive. Whatever image you impress upon it, love or fear, faith or doubt, it will bring into form. So visualization isn't about pretending something is true. It's about allowing yourself to feel it as true. It's about entering the vibration of wholeness before it appears. Let's make this practical. When you visualize, 1, relax the mind. A scattered consciousness sends mixed signals. Stillness amplifies clarity. 2, feel, don't just see. Engage the senses. Smell, touch, emotion. The body makes it real. 3, visualize as identity. Don't see yourself wanting it, see yourself being it. 4, release it. Let go of control. Trust that the image has been planted. 5, live aligned. Act and feel as if it's already part of you. This process isn't imagination, it's integration. You're integrating a future state into your present self. And the more coherent that integration becomes, the faster the outer world aligns. But there's another dimension to visualization, one Jung only hinted at, but which modern science and ancient mystics both confirm. When you visualize, you are not just sending images into your mind, you are sending vibrations into the field of reality itself. Because consciousness doesn't exist inside the skull, it extends far beyond it. It's a living field that connects every mind, every atom, every moment in time. Jung called this the psychoid realm, a bridge between psyche and matter, where the symbolic and the physical are two sides of the same coin. It's the space where dreams shape events and thoughts ripple through the invisible layers of existence. He believed that images and emotions carry energy, a subtle but measurable vibration that interacts with this underlying field. So when you visualize, when you create a vivid inner picture charged with emotion, you're not only programming your unconscious, you're impressing that pattern onto the very structure of the collective mind. And in that collective field, all possibilities exist. The archetypes that Jung described, the creator, the lover, the hero, the sage, they aren't just stories. They're living energies that shape behavior, art, and destiny across every culture and age. When you visualize deeply enough, you awaken one of those archetypal forces within you. You step into the pattern of the creator archetype, and the world begins to organize itself through you as a vehicle for creation. You become part of something greater, a current that has always existed but now flows consciously through your life. Modern science, in its own language, is beginning to catch up. Quantum physics speaks of the observer effect, where the act of observation changes what is being observed. Neuroscience confirms that the brain doesn't distinguish between imagined and real experiences. Both trigger the same neural circuits, the same chemical and energetic responses. And systems theory, chaos theory, and even epigenetics show that subtle inputs, a thought, a feeling, an intention, can reorganize complex systems over time. Your body, your relationships, your outer world, they all begin to shift toward coherence once your inner vision stabilizes. Jung might have said it this way: the moment you hold an image with full attention, it begins to exist, not just in your mind, but in the field that connects all minds. And that field starts to rearrange reality in resonance with that image, drawing events, people, and opportunities that match its vibration. This is why certain visions seem to magnetize the world around them. It's why artists, inventors, and spiritual leaders describe seeing something so clearly that it eventually manifests almost on its own. They didn't create it through effort. They allowed the image to move through them, as if life itself wanted to express it. That's the secret power of visualization. It's not fantasy, it's collaboration. You and the universe become co-creators in the same dream, because visualization is not about attraction, it's about alignment. It's not about getting, it's about becoming. Jung believed that everything you truly imagine, with full emotional reality, becomes a psychic fact. And once it exists in the psyche, it seeks expression in the physical world. Your life is the outer projection of your inner symbolic landscape. So be mindful of what you see within. When you visualize, don't think of what you lack. See what you already are becoming. Feel it, embody it, and let that image live in you. As Jung said, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. And that's what visualization is really about, becoming the next evolution of your true self. So close your eyes and see not with your eyes, but with your soul. Because every image you hold with belief and emotion becomes your future. Visualization works not because you control the universe, but because you finally align with it. Made possible through the wisdom of Carl Jung.